Hey guys, it's Brittany. So, today's gonna be a popcorn drop video, and today, and again, there goes, okay, yeah, there goes the motorcycles. Sorry for that. Interesting. So, yes, today is a popcorn trap video, and today we'll be discussing on the movie What About Bob? Directed by Frank Oz and starring Bill Murray, Richard Dreyfuss, Julie Haggerty, if that's how you say it, I'm sorry, and Charlie Carsmo, and music by Miles Goodman. I don't think I've heard of him, but yeah, I've did heard the music he composed for in What About Bob, and yeah, I gotta say, great job with the music. So it was released in theaters May 17th, 1991. So this was, let's see, hold on a sec. So it came out 6 months before I was born, in November that year, but on the 13th. So yeah, very interesting. So What About Bob is a comedy movie, and it's about where Bill Murray plays this uh, character, Bob Wiley, where he suffers from multiple phobias, and with Richard Dreyfuss, he plays a very well known psychiatrist, and where he had just published a book called Baby Steps. And so we can see that in this scene where Leo Marvin, Richard Dreyfuss, where he gets a call from another psychiatrist, and he is telling him that he does recommend one of his patients to him, and that we can see that I think he's gonna leave. I think he's no longer gonna do psychiatry, and that and at one point after the call ends, he says, what was it that he says? So we can see that after the call ends, there's something that he said. I don't know what it was he said. Did he said finally, or did he said I'm free, or free? One of those. And so of course, as we see the scene where Bob does visits Dr. Leo Marvin, that he pretty much tells him like about himself, how he has a lot of phobias, and just other things that he's suffering, that he's going through, not just mentally, but I believe even emotionally as well. And um, so as we can see that this is just a good scene between the two characters, and it's just um, funny. But what's even more funny is that at some point he really want to talk to him, and I think that the reason why he wants to continue to talk to him, because he thinks if I just continue to talk to him, he just might solve all my problems, and I'm just probably gonna get better. So I think that's what it was, and he just really needed someone to talk to, and I think that's what it was, that I think he felt like he felt that there was this connection between them, where he felt like he could really help me out here. And if I talk to him, he just could help me out with anything, and I could probably recover faster, or at least try to feel better, and let go, so maybe. But I do believe that he just really needed someone to talk to, and so when he's trying to call him when he's on vacation, it's just, um, it's just funny. But then when he goes over there, you know, just when he seems like he's about to take his own vacation, but he doesn't, but he stays there. He takes a vacation where his doctor is taking a vacation, and of course, Leo, Dr. Marvin, he's not expecting that, because now to him, he doesn't believe that a psychiatrist and their client can have some kind of connection to, to really talk, to, like, in a way, connect. So that's what he believes. But now I think it depends on the psychiatrist, But to me, I do feel like, in a way, it's good to at least have some kind of connection with the patient, especially if you're trying to understand them, in any way to help them, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, and I think that's okay to have at least some kind of connection with them, almost like a friend in a way, where you get to help them and really be there for them to understand them and to understand what they're going through. And so now he doesn't believe that, but that's because, he does what he does. He is a different kind of psychiatrist where he doesn't have any kind of close connection with their patients. But, that's okay. He does what he does, and, he wrote a book, called Baby Steps. So, and I'm wondering if that was a real book. I do think that probably would have been a really good book if it was real, but of course this was made for the movie, for the character. So, but yeah, what's funny is that we see where the tables turn here, because the moment that Bob takes a vacation where Leo Marvin is vacationing with his family, he decides to take a vacation where he is at. And so at some point, the more that Bob visits and he comes around, it starts to drive Leo crazy. He starts to get on his nerves, and so it's just driving him crazy. Like, he's always coming around here. He's just, and he doesn't like the fact that Bob is actually talking and getting along with his family, like with his wife, with his son, with his daughter, and he's just like, I don't want this. I'm on vacation. I want to spend time with my family. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to spend time with your family alone, and I get that completely. But Bob here probably, I don't know if he quite understood that he just wanted that, and that Bob was just having a good time just visiting his doctor's family, at their vacation house, and he was just having a good time. He's happy to be there. Like, so for him, it's like him visiting his doctor's family. It's like, it's not just like a doctor's visit or anything. He sees it as, well, not only are you my doctor, but I consider you like a friend, like almost like a neighbor, and like, I'm just dropping by, just saying hi. And because the more when he's around, the more that Leo is really getting on edge. He's starting to get uh, pissed off and just yeah, he really starts to get angry, and I can see where he starts to where the anger starts to boil, um, like a volcano. I think the best way to put it. And it's just funny. It's just hilarious because you would think that even with Bob taking a vacation, you would think that he would still be having these problems, these issues that he's dealing with, and the many phobias that he has, and that maybe with he's if he's having more trouble with them, that Leo Marvin would have to really be the one to try to consult him and to comfort him, and try to help him, in any way he can. But no, this is completely turned around where Bob, I think he's slowly getting out of that. Where when he's on vacation, where his doctor and his family are on vacation, that he, it seems like he's slowly starting to let go of those fears that he has, and he's slowly, in a way, taking those baby steps and just somehow coming over those fears, but he's doing it his own way, and he may not have expected for it to be done in that way, but it was. And so when he's slowly getting over his fears, and it seems like he's trying to feel better in some way, it pretty much somehow comes out naturally for him. But as for Leo Marvin, Bob is just driving him crazy. And the thing is, because Bob isn't really doing or anything that's like beyond crazy. It's not like he's doing anything that would drive him even more crazy, but since he's just, even though there's some things that he might be in a way strange about, but still, he's doing, he is who he is, and he's just trying to let go of those fears, and I think slowly he is, and he's overcoming that, slowly in his own way, naturally, but yet on one hand, even when he's being very likable and easygoing, it's just driving Leo crazy. And he just can't stand him. He can't stand the fact that he's there with him, around his family. So, and then he starts to act crazy. Because at some point, he gets really on edge, or he goes to the point where he almost, where because he got these bags, and he got these explosives, like explosive powder, and so he put them in a bag and tied Bob to a chair outside in the forest, and he was trying to kill him. But what happened was, because now this is funny too, how what's been said and how it was taken, because Leah was telling him, you're gonna blow up. Like, he was telling him in so many minutes that it's gonna go off and he's gonna blow up. Okay, so he already went too far. He's already gone crazy. But, and so, and yeah, so at some point, when he leaves and he's laughing, But Bob, he doesn't, I don't think he knew what he was saying, that he was literally going to die. But Bob took it in a way like, okay, I get it. And this is what he says. Like, I can't remember every word, um, but this is what he said in this scene where he's tied up with these bags of the explosive powder, and he says, I get it now. If I don't untie these knots, the emotional knots inside, then I'm gonna explode. Okay, yes, I would say on one hand, I agree that for someone who has a lot of emotional knots inside, and if they don't really let that out, if they don't express how they're really feeling, whether if it's anger or sadness, or if they need to cry, whatever it is, so if they don't let it out, yeah, in a way, they will um, explode emotionally. Where their emotions will just come out, and they won't be able to really uh, control of what they're feeling, because it's not going to come out in a healthy way. It's going to come out in a very unhealthy way. So he's taking it as that. So now, because he took it as that of what Leo Marvin meant, which it was not at all. But I don't know how this happened. I don't know how he did it, but since he now, even though he didn't know what Dr. Leo Marvin really meant was that he was going to actually kill him, but since he took it in a completely different way, but I think since he knows deep inside in himself, so it's almost like he is maybe being his own psychiatrist of what Leo was trying to say, even though he wasn't. But since he took it as, okay, with these all these emotional knots I have inside, and if I don't release them, if I don't untie myself with these emotional knots, I'll explode. So he took it as that, but somehow he was really to able untie himself with a rope from the chair, but yeah, he still is carrying the bags with the explosive powder. And so by the time he gets to Leo's house, he puts them inside the house, and then of course he comes out with a cake. um I don't think he was singing happy birthday. No, he wasn't. He was I think he was saying he's a jolly good fellow, but he was also saying how Dr. Leo Marvin is a genius, and then he gets concerned, like, wait, what about bags? Where did you put them? And he said, inside the house. Why? And as you can see why, the house just explodes, because that's what, because he was hoping that, you know, you know what I mean? So this is where Leo went too far as to kill Bob in the most horrible way. And that's how what happened to the house. And oh no. Now let's say if that did happen, that would be a whole different movie. That would have been rated R. I think it would be more of a horror comedy, but I don't, of course, that would not have been good if that happened. No, because then if that did happen, then that would have meant Dr. Leo Marvin would probably end up in a mental institution for doing that, and probably jail as well. But no, so good thing that Bob did untie himself, and that it did have a good ending. And so how it ended was that Bob actually married Leo's sister, because of course they really liked each other. I think they fell in love, so they got married, which I thought was cute. So I actually liked it how it ended. But yes, I gotta say Bob is right about that. with the whole emotional knots, that for it's like no matter what it is that you're going through, whether like mentally, psychologically, or even emotionally, but if you just have a lot of emotions build up inside you, whether if it's many, if you're like scared, confused, sad, angry, even like maybe, frustrated, and if you just have all these emotions build up inside, and if you can't somehow able to express them in a healthy way, at some point, yeah, you'll explode. Like metaphorically, not literally, but of course, metaphorically, you'll explode, and all those emotions will come out, but not in a healthy way. They'll come out in an unhealthy way, and that's not good. But yeah, with that being said, you really gotta untangle those emotional knots that you have, because once you do that, then little by little you'll start to really express what you're really feeling. And if you want to express how angry you are, let it out. If you want to express how scared you are, no matter what it may be, let that out, and if you want to express how sad you are, and if it means you need a good cry, then by all means cry, because I even heard that you can't hold in your cry, because when you hold it in, it's not good. So if you need to cry, it's okay. Go ahead and cry and let it out, because once you let out what you're feeling, then those emotional knots and tangles will start to untangle, and you'll able to express what you're really feeling in a very healthy way, that needs to be let out, and for you to express it how you need to let it out. So yes, that is very true, very true. So yeah, and I gotta say, there are some funny scenes in What About Bob that are just so funny, and it just makes me laugh. And so yeah, this is what I've heard, that when they were making What About Bob, that Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss were not getting along, and I think it's because that Bill Murray, I think there was something, I think the way he was acting or something he was saying, that made Richard Dreyfuss felt uncomfortable, and just felt like he didn't probably didn't know what to say around him. I think that's what I've heard, but yeah, I've heard something like that, like, oh wow. But I gotta say, despite that we can see like just how funny this was, and how they were able to really um play these characters so well. And yeah, it just turned out really funny. But yeah, I love the cast though, that they did a good job. And they are both funny when it comes to certain scenes and what it is that they do or say, and it's just funny. But yeah, I like the music too, and I like the location setting of the movie, and just like with the story, and how that in this one, that it shows when Bob is so likable and easygoing and getting along with his family, is driving Leo crazy, and to the point where he would almost kill him. And so that drove him off. That got him really crazy, mentally and psychologically as well. And, and so with Bob, he's coming over his fears. So, by the end, he was able to realize, for him to untie his emotional knots, because if he doesn't, he'll explode. Yes, on one hand that is true, but metaphorically speaking, and that is true, of what I have mentioned, emotionally. So yeah, that is true though. And so it's just funny how the doctor goes crazy and the patient, he doesn't appear to be like that crazy, not at all. So in a way it's just funny. So anyway, that is the movie discussion on What About Bob. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Um, so yeah, and comment down below if you like the movie What About Bob, and if so, give this video a like. And so for more movie content, reactions, dreams, and the paranormal, subscribe and click on the bell so you'll be notified when I upload. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.